Drumdums is finally continuing his Hellraiser reviews with Bloodline. Little does he know that this marks the beginning of the real suffering.
Hellraiser Bloodline stars Bruce Ramsey, Kim Myers, and is directed by Kevin Yeager. What's up, guys? It's finally time to continue the Hellraiser reviews. It's been a while since I did Hellraiser 3. Keep in mind, I've seen 1 through 3 in the past before. From here on out, it's uncharted territory. I've never seen 4 through the rest. I don't even remember all the names of the rest of the movies, but I recently watched 4 last night. I was gonna come in here and go ahead and review it, but I said, you know what? That was a lot to take in. I think I'm gonna go ahead and let this one sit overnight. And that's what I did. I'm gonna need a monster for this. Oh yeah. Whew. Never have I needed a monster for a review more than Hellraiser Bloodline. Okay, let's get into the plot and then we're gonna talk some trash. First off, this plot is really complex. And I think that's one of its biggest problems. But I think the simplest way to break this down is the main character of this is who we'll call Merchant. There are 3 different timelines in this movie. 2127, 1796, and 1996, which is the movie's present day. But Merchant in 1796, he is the creator of the lament configuration, or the box. And he is commissioned to create the box for this guy who's up to no good, because the old guy's real motive is to open the doorway to hell. That's what he wants to do, and he needs to create this box to do that. And by the way, his sidekick is Adam freaking Scott. That Adam Scott. Insane. I never even knew Adam Scott was in this. Him and his assistant, they pull in this peasant, they kill her, and then they create Angelique. And Angelique is a really interesting character. One of the most interesting characters in the franchise so far, I think. And she uses her powers of seduction to entice the assistant to kill the old guy and eventually kill Merchant. So then we fast forward 200 years to a present day Merchant. This is not the same guy. This is his ancestor or his bloodline. And he creates this building. Now this is the building that we saw at the end of Hellraiser 3, I believe. And I think that's the only tie to any of the previous Hellraisers. Besides Pinhead, of course. And so Angelique's mission is to seduce him to get the box, but then eventually she finds the box anyway, and then she wants to pull Pinhead out of hell. And when Pinhead and Angelique get together, they kind of had a tug of war of ideals, because Angelique's all about seduction. She does not like the way that hell is in the present day with Pinhead. You know, Pinhead's all about pain and suffering, and she's not buying that. So she tries to seduce Merchant into creating this Elysium configuration, which will close the doors of hell forever. And she does not want to be a part of hell anymore. She wants to live on Earth. But eventually in 1996, her and Pinhead, they get summoned back to hell. And so then we are in 2127, which is where the movie starts at, 2127. That version of Merchant wants to completely destroy the lament configuration for once and for all. Did you get all that? That is what this movie was, and it's a Hellraiser 4, so it's shocking that they wanted to get this crazy with the script, but part of me actually likes that they said, hey, you know what, there's a lot of different stories we could tell with this, but it's too bad the whole thing was just completely, I guess, clustered. But let's go into a little bit of the backstory on this. Kevin Yeager had a much more detailed version of this movie, but studio heads stepped in and they wanted Pinhead to be in the movie earlier on, whereas Kevin Yeager didn't have Pinhead in until 40 minutes into the movie. But aside from Pinhead too, it was a very different version of the script. It was more cohesive, things made a lot more sense. Whereas in this version, it's kind of the way it is because Kevin Yeager left the project. And that's why if you look it up on Internet Movie Database, it says Alan Smithy, because he didn't want to have any part of this. And they actually brought in Joe Chappelle, who actually directed Halloween 6 to finish the film. But it's not all bad. Let's get into what I liked about Hellraiser Bloodline. Because when I watched it last night, I had a headache after, and I didn't like it at all, actually. I was kind of like annoyed by the movie. After letting it sit, I kind of grew to appreciate the effort that was put into that script, this could have been a really good movie, and there's a few things that prevented that in my mind. But first off, the Angelique character. Like I said, one of the most interesting characters out of the whole franchise. It's almost like Pinhead's polar opposite. It's interesting that you have different entities in hell that have different ideals. She had different ideals than Pinhead. She was all about seduction and kind of, I guess you could say, the old ways of hell, if that makes any sense, whereas Pinhead was more about pain and suffering. But I loved her character. I found her very interesting. And really, this was kind of her movie throughout the whole thing. Pinhead is in this quite a bit, but she's in pretty much every timeline in this movie. Thank God I really enjoyed her character, because then it would have really been horrible. Also, I enjoyed Pinhead. Doug Bradley always brings his A game. There's plenty of Pinhead in this movie. The movie is beautiful to look at. It's lit very well. There's just something about Dimension films, horror movies, that just, they look amazing. Halloween 6 looks amazing. And this was the first Hellraiser by Dimension. And of course, you're gonna get some of those great Pinhead one-liners that we all know and love.
Pain has a face. Allow me to show it to you.
And again, the script, had it been directed properly and maybe fleshed out a little bit more, that would have been a huge pro for me. Now, let's get into the cons. What really bugged me about this movie. First off, the main character of this movie is played by Bruce Ramsey. I did not think he was that great of an actor. I didn't find him that interesting at all. And it's a shame, because he is in every timeline of the movie. He is the main character of the movie. I think they could have done a better job with getting a more capable actor. Maybe even Adam Scott. Maybe Adam Scott should have played that part, and they should have made Bruce Ramsey play his part, because Adam Scott is a really good actor. Also, Kim Myers, who was actually in A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, big fan of hers. She does a great job in that movie, but I don't know if it's her fault or if it was the director's fault, but she is not that good in this at all. The acting, for the most part in this movie, is pretty bad. Look, I'll break it down like this. Bob Clark, who directed Black Christmas, this is the perfect example. He says, give me a great script, but give me horrible actors. I cannot give you a good movie. But give me a bad script with great actors, I could possibly give you a good movie. I wholeheartedly believe that. And that was what happened with this. We had an ambitious script, but we had some really bad actors. And I'm not gonna give the kid a hard time, because he's just a little kid, but still, at the end of the day, it's a really, really bad performance. That's a horrible thing to say. I shouldn't be putting down a kid like that, but you get what I'm saying. You know, there have been movies with kids, and the kids are phenomenal. Danielle Harris, Halloween 4. So yeah, even the kid in Pet Sematary who played Gage, really great job. So guys, in the end, the one thing I'm having a real hard time with is my rating on this. It's either a high 2 hours lost or a low humdrum. We're gonna go with the low humdrum, because I don't regret watching it, and I will probably watch this one again down the line, because it might be one of those that I grow to like more. It can't get any worse, but I have a really bad feeling about the rest of these movies in this franchise. So anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on Hellraiser Bloodline? Looking forward to hearing them. If you want to check out the rest of my Hellraiser reviews, check out my Hellraiser playlist. I will post a link to that right here. Also, come over to Killer Flicks, where we talk horror all day, every day. Follow me on social media at Letterboxd, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Drumdums. If you like what I'm doing, please hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and Drumdum out. How in the hell did I get through that review?